This trip to Europe has been a complete, total disaster. It's sad, it's embarrassing, it's humiliating, but Joe Biden pictured, as you can see there, taking a little nappy poo in public during a meeting about climate change. Now, Joe just couldn't seem to keep his eyes open, peacefully sleeping, not a care in the world, and then, of course, an aide has to rush over about, Joe, hello, Joe, Joe, wake up, Joe. This is the latest humiliating moment out of Biden. I guess Donald Trump was right. Sleepy Joe living up to his name. Now, this week when Biden wasn't dozing off, he was busy apologizing, including a blanket apology to Europe for America's evil ways. The same America that saved Europe. Let me figure that out while you watch this.
I guess I shouldn't apologize, but I do apologize for the fact the United States, the last administration, pulled out of the Paris Accords and put us sort of behind the eight ball.
Really, Joe, it was the United States of America. We saved Europe and the world, Joe Biden. And under Donald Trump, net emissions, carbon emissions, went down and went down dramatically. As a matter of fact, Joe, Donald Trump led every single country in reducing carbon output. So instead of Joe Biden apologizing to Europe, he ought to be showing them how we did it. Also, Joe, you pushed our Western European allies right into that hostile actor, Vladimir Putin's arms, giving Vladimir that special pipeline waiver while simultaneously taking away high-paying career jobs for Americans on the Keystone XL pipeline, other energy industry jobs. Great job, Joey. And now he's reduced our supply of oil and gas. And at the very same time, now for the second time, he is begging OPEC and Saudi Arabia and the Middle East and Vladimir Putin to pump more oil. Senator Barrasso says we get more oil from Putin than we are getting from Alaska. Does that make any sense? Take a look.
When the cost of a gallon of gasoline gets to above $3.35 a gallon, it has profound impact on working class families just to get back and forth to work. So I don't see anything inconsistent with that, but I do think that the idea that Russia and Saudi Arabia and other major producers are not going to pump more oil so people can have gasoline to get to and from work, for example, is not right. But and what we're considering doing that, I'm reluctant to say before I have to do it.
Joe, you got rid of energy independence that Donald Trump handed you. You single-handedly reduced the supply on the world market because you went with new Green Deal radical socialism. Here's a question. Does that make any sense? From an economic standpoint, a national security perspective, an environmental perspective, producing less oil here at home and then import more oil, and you're concerned about climate change? Well, if the oil is being pumped here instead of there, and we get it cheaper when we pump it here, it's going to still have the same net effect on the environment and on the planet Earth that you love so much. And by the way, now we have to go to countries that hate our guts and beg them to produce more oil because you artificially reduced our supply? Because that's exactly what is happening right now, thanks to Joe, or Joe's handlers, or whoever's making the decision these days. More pollution, higher costs, fewer American jobs. But don't expect Joe to have to answer any tough questions about any of this, because during his only press conference in Europe, Biden once again first said, I'm not allowed to talk. They get mad at me and everything. And then said, all right, I'll call on a small list of support reporters, pre-selected, pre-screened, as per usual by his staff. You can't make this up. Joey, you're the president. You get to decide.
Please sit down. I apologize for keeping you waiting. We were playing with elevators. Long story. At any rate, good evening. And now I'm happy to take some questions, and I'm told I should start with AP Zeke Miller. Zeke, you have a question? Didn't recognize you with the mask on. I apologize.
I'm told I should start. Joey, you're the president, Joe. You get to decide. Your staff shouldn't be making that decision for you. Right now, America is facing slow economic growth, record-setting inflation, a massive worker shortage in part because of your policies, a supply chain fiasco because of your policies, high energy prices, which means everybody's paying more for everything, a crisis you caused at America's border, Americans you abandoned in Afghanistan. But Joe Biden is either unwilling, unable to have a lengthy, open, unscripted discussion with the press. And according to a new NBC News poll, 71% of you, the American people, believe the country is headed in the wrong direction, including a majority of Democrats. Get this, NPR, Marist poll finds a plurality of Democrats think that replacing Biden in 2024 will give them a better shot at winning. They're not wrong. The numbers are so bad that even one of MSDNC's top Democrats, Chucky Todd, he's trying to sound the alarm. Listen.
Good Sunday morning. Happy Halloween. We have a brand new NBC News poll out this morning that's filled with some scary news for the Democrats. The overarching message: Americans have lost their confidence in President Biden and their optimism for the country. At least they have right now. Just 22% of adults say we're headed in the right direction. A shocking 71% say we're on the wrong track, and that includes a near majority of Democrats. Republicans, believe it or not, have double-digit leads in dealing with border security, inflation, crime, national security, the economy, and shockingly, on getting things done.
Even more shocking, 22% of Americans think the country is going in the right direction. What direction is right? Now, there's no plan whatsoever to fix any of the Biden administration's self-inflicted crises. For example, the administration seemingly, their only plan to fix the supply chain is just call FedEx. We get lectured again to call FedEx. Oh, I guess we should lower our thermostats and put our sweaters on and go right back to Jimmy Carter's malaise factor. Here's Biden's Commerce Secretary over the weekend.
There are reports that while the president announced the 24/7 opening, that's not actually happening out in California, that there's still backups. Business community has been complaining about that.
There are backups, and as I said, this isn't something that can be fixed overnight, but the important thing is, fundamentally, supply chains and logistics are run by the private sector. People say to me, will Christmas gifts be delivered? To which I say, call FedEx. That isn't what the government does.
Oh, let me translate. You have no plan. You're on your own. Shop in October for Christmas. Settle for less. Pay more. Unless, of course, you're an illegal immigrant. Then you get special rules applied to you. As a matter of fact, you thought it was bad when they're not COVID testing or having a vaccine mandate, preferential treatment for illegal immigrants. Well, now you'll love this. As we told you last week, the Biden administration is now out there with a plan to give certain illegal immigrants $450,000 each for their pain and their suffering. Pain and suffering, by the way, that they caused themselves because they decided to violate our laws and not respect our borders and our sovereignty. That, I guess, is fairness in the minds of the Joe Biden Democratic Socialist Party. And by the way, it's only one small part of the Biden administration's plan to spend trillions and trillions of dollars on this new Green Deal social welfare Build Back Worse program of his that will cause backbreaking stagflation, transform the country into a socialist train wreck. It's why every single election, national, state, and local, is important, and especially tomorrow. In Virginia, New Jersey, Americans can send a very important message. We can begin the process of getting this country back on track. You have to go to the polls. You have to show up. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.